Hi, it's Rob from the Brush and Boltgun. Today I'm going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to paint simple red parchment. If you'd like to support the channel, our Ko-fi and Patreon pages are linked below. Now on to the video. The first colour that we're going to use is Citadel Mephiston Red. We're going to give the parchments a nice smooth coat of this. So get that all over the parchments, ready for the shade. Like so. Next up, we're going to shade with Citadel Carroburg Crimson. Whereas I'd use the Drucci Violet on the likes of cloaks and robes and things like that, I use the Carroburg Crimson on the parchments just because it's not going to get as much shade as you would on a cloak or some robes. So the Carroburg Crimson serves that quite well. We're going to go back to Citadel Mephiston Red now. What we're going to do is we're going to apply this to all the areas that will be catching the light. We're going to leave the shade in the recesses. You've got quite a few little creases and stuff like that on the parchments. But if you just go to the areas that will be catching the light and the smoother areas and start working the Mephiston Red back into that, we can start working on the highlights. So as you're going along these, you'll find parts of it where there's quite deep recesses. You'll find other parts where there may be a large flat surface that comes to an end as the crease goes underneath the parchment, like on some of these vertical sections. So when you get to the edge of that little crease, where you've got a flat surface coming downwards, maybe at an angle or almost straight down, and then the parchment folds under itself, you want to keep that nice straight line of darkness there, so you'd highlight and reapply the red on the almost vertical or the smooth side, and then where it gets to that sort of crease where it bends under, stop the red there so that you've just got shade under that bit, and that'll give it that really nice look that the light is catching the parchment and leaving the underside shaded. So you can just carry on with that, and then we'll come back to the next highlight. Now we're going to use a little bit of Citadel Evil Sunz Scarlet. There's a nice orangey red to highlight these little parchments with. So here you're going to be using this on about 50% of the Mephiston Red, and you want to be doing the 50% which will be getting more light. So if it's the ribbons and you've got the Mephiston Red back on the top of the ribbons and things like that, where you've got the light coming from above, you would want to have the Evil Sunz Scarlet on that top section. Also, you want to highlight some of the bottom areas where you've got plenty of little creases and folds and nicks and cuts in the parchment. So you want to make sure that they're highlighted so that those details stand out too. So as you come to do the end parts and the parts that are going upwards, same as before, like you did with the Mephiston Red, you want to make sure that you're highlighting the top areas more with the Evil Sunz Scarlet. So the areas that be catching more light will be getting lighter and lighter. The next colour we have is Citadel Wild Rider Red, and this is mainly going to be kind of edge highlights. So you want to be going along the edges of the parchment and doing little highlights on details and ridges to make those stand out. Once you've started putting these highlights on, you'll find that the detailing on the parchment really does stand out a lot more. So whereas the other highlights and the base layers and that have kind of given the colour to the parchment, this one puts on all the details and really makes it stand out, so you can see all the highlights and all the areas that you've been working on. It really does bring out those details. So next we're going to use Vallejo White or pure white, whatever kind of white it is that you're using. Could be one of the Citadel ones, but I use a very, very plain white. It's matte, but it's also just white. There's no hint of any other colour in it. And all I'm doing here is I'm starting off the scroll, because it's the Black Templars, with a little white square, and then I'm going to be doing lots of very, very thin lines which are going across the parchments. So I'm using the equivalent of an army painter insane detail brush, which has a really, really tiny brush at the end there. You can see how small that is, but it means you can get some really, really fine lines to do those horizontal lines, and it does make it look a lot more like text. I usually use the Army Painter Wargamer character brush, but we've decided to start using this as well to do some smaller details, because it does make a difference in terms of the size of the point on the brush. So you can see there I've added a little slightly thicker line as like a header or something along those lines. You can add the little wide triangles, like the Aquila kind of shapes. What I'm trying to do here as well is I'll put on a few little squares where I'll be putting the Black Templars symbol in the middle, and also a few round circles of white here and there. I think there's one on this side and one on the other side that I'll do, and then using a little bit of black in a moment to put some eyes and a nose on there, so you have that little kind of basic skull shape. Just carry on all these details and patterns. We can return with the next colour. So now we are going to add some black to those little Templar symbols and also the little skull shapes. So in order to do the Templar symbols, you've got your nice white square there. You're just going to add a little black square in the middle. And then I was playing around with ideas of how to do this first one. I found the easiest way to do the Black Templar symbols this small is to do the black square in the middle of the white square, then get a tiny spot of white, do an X going across the black square, and then just putting a spot of black in the middle to join up the four pieces that are left once you've put that X on there. And it does look pretty cool the way the Templar symbols emerge doing that. And it's a lot easier than trying to paint on all 4 white points going from almost the middle to the outside. So you want to do a white square, a black square in the middle, do a white X across the black square, and then put a spot of black in the middle to join up the 4 pieces. Good thing with these is if you do make a mistake when you're doing the little Templar symbols, they're very easy to redo with the white square and then the black square in the middle. So this is the finished Emperor's Champion, and you can see on there the red parchments flowing from his power pack. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future content. Also, think about subscribing to some of our other social media, linked below. Thanks very much. If you like the channel and enjoy the content, please consider supporting us through our Ko-fi and Patreon pages, linked below. Thanks very much.